right. So how do I put this? New Mutants, right? All right. So Casper, and then you have the Legend of Chun Li, right? But then here comes New Mutants, and it devours the Legend of Chun Li. Tonight on the show, we have the Scarecrow. Scarecrow, how are you doing, sir? Jonathan Crane.
Yeah, Chun-Li. That was funny. You know why?
I hope it's accurate.
Absolutely accurate. So accurate. So accurate. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great, despite having watched this movie. Alexis disagrees with us. They're saying, I thought it was great. We're going to find out tonight. The executive consultant.
Alexis, please enlighten us.
I wish you would, Alexis. I wish you would. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching us here at Unpopular Review. But somebody got to explain to me how anybody thought this movie was great.
Yeah.
This was tough, man. This was tough, man. I had to drink some liquid encouragement. I wanted to go to New Jack City for a second. I'm live with your family. Hey, and that's a great name, Mr. Dockett. That's a great name. But I wanted to go to New Jack City and get some of that stuff after watching this movie. This movie was very, very rough.
I had some apologies to some prior reviews that I've given to some movies because clearly I was wrong. There's worse out there.
Yeah, you know what? You went straight to my final thought because I'm dishing out some apologies, man. I'm dishing out some apologies. This is
all right. Let me jump into the synopsis now. When I read the synopsis, I think it's accurate, and yet it's completely inaccurate because when you watch this movie, you will not see this. If you watch the movie, you'll know exactly what I mean. But here we go. A young girl awakens in a strange hospital to find she is the sole survivor of a devastating attack on her reservation. But her relief soon turns to terror, as one nightmare replaces another. All right, so that essentially, in a way, is the synopsis for New Mutants. The last, as we've been doing this series on Fox's X-Men series, this is a pseudo X-Men, but in the same universe. You find that out in the movie towards the midway point that they share the same universe. And also with another movie that we just covered, spoiler alert, Logan. There's a Logan callback. But we'll get more into that, I'm sure, in our best of, worst of, or final thoughts at some point. But who would like to go in here first, the last of our X-Men series?
You want me to go? You got it. It's up to you. All right, I'll go. Best of, worst of scenes, ladies and gentlemen. We talk about our best scenes. We talk about worst scenes. Here is my best scene. I got up and I left, and that was my room. I never wanted to leave my room so fast, so that was my best scene of the night. That was best scene. Worst scene. All right. I have to be honest with you. It was really hard for me to pinpoint one worst scene. So I told Vic in pre-production, I was like, hey, I wish I could have downloaded it. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I went and found it. Here it is. This is the script of New Mutants. That was the worst part of this movie.
Yep.
The entire freaking movie. The entire freaking movie was the worst scene. And ladies and gentlemen, that is my best scene, and that is my worst scene of New Mutants.
Alexa says, I think it was bad, but in a great way with the smiley face men and that mutants were an all-star cast. I'll give you that there were a lot of big names in this movie. I liked them in their other projects. I did not like them in this one, Alexis. And I'll say that Slender Man was not expected in the X-Men movie, nor was his background ever explained in a script that I call Half Ideas New Mutants. Vic, do you want to go? You want me to go in here for my best of worst stuff?
I'll go. Okay, so here's the thing about this movie.
There's always a thing.
Why I was disappointed. I went into
Star Trek line, by the way.
No, I went into this movie with so much optimism.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, because Arya Stark is in there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? At the time, it's 2020. I'm thinking, wow, this lady, okay, they're going to do something new. So I'm going in there with a ton of optimism. I'm thinking we're going to see some young X-Men. I'm thinking we're going to see a cameo from somebody. I'm thinking something's happening. You know why? Because I'm not looking at any previews. I'm not looking at anything. The only thing that I know is just New Mutants. So I'm expecting X-Men. I'm expecting a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? But what I get...
Vic, did you see this in the theaters?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you. You see why. Thank you. Anyway, so you know, I went into this with so much optimism, and you know me, the sunflower, you know what I'm saying? So the way that they destroyed Arya Stark, oh my god.
You talking about season 8 of Game of Thrones or what?
Yes, man, that little girl was so awesome and so badass. And the way they just ruined her in this movie was just sad. Now, what did I did what the only thing that I did like was when I actually realized what this movie was connected to, which is clearly was connected to Logan, and what the lady in Logan was talking about as far as what happened to his daughter and other mutants. So clearly, you know, it's a continuation of that. They're going to use this story in order to go further with it. So I feel like maybe in the future, once we see what this is connected to and other things, we'll probably rate it a little bit better. But as of right now, I just don't like the direction that this went. Now, one thing that I don't know is what happened in the comics as far as the New Mutants. You know what I mean? But this whole situation, just like Chris said, it's like the whole script. All right. Now, another one spot that I could say that I did like was when the kid got outed for being a virgin in the lie detector.
Okay.
I resonated with that because when I was in high school, I was a virgin and I lied about it, and then I got outed.
You lied about it while hiding in the attic in a lie detector test?
No, not like that. You know, just trying to be one of the cool kids and be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I lied about it, and that's what he was doing. Like he was just sitting there like, too many to count. You know, so like I kind of resonated with that because you know I did that when I was a kid and I lied. You know, eventually I told the truth, but still, like, that made me smile a little bit, and that was pretty much one of the only things that made me smile because everything else. Oh, the other thing, like when the Blondie came in, Blondie came in and started killing all the Smiley men. That was cool. I mean, I think her power is awesome, but I find it hilarious how, you know, Arya Stark can't really get away from a blonde with a dragon.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I just kept thinking about that throughout the whole movie. Like, all right, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Are you trying to tell somebody else's story, or are you just trying to be, you know? So, yeah. Let's see what else. What did I like? Yeah, it's just hard to like this movie, bro. It really is. Yeah, for real. I'm really nicking and picking and trying to talk and say something about nice about, you know, because I'm a nice guy. But no, sorry, shoe fly, goodbye. And the Scarecrow girl, like, I mean, yo, like you're the whole movie is about you fighting your fears and and you fighting everybody's fears, and at the end you're literally there touching a bear, and then that's the end of the movie, and everybody rides off into the sun. Shoe fly, bro. This is whack. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
All right, on you, Dream Warriors.
Well, Christie has ceded her time to me, much like they do in the Senate. I'm going to call this a filibuster. Here we go. Now, in the past few episodes, I've been saying a couple of things. One, that typically Hollywood writes female characters as trash. This movie has proven me right. Also, a lot of these movies are nothing but special effects and no actual plot. There's no thought that goes into it. Proven right again. Also, just as Game of Thrones was arguably, and even season 7, but definitely in season 8, this script written by Chris, or from the idea of Chris Claremont, written by whoever, I don't see the name on the thing on the script, is nothing but a half idea. This movie is comprised of a bunch of half ideas. That's why Vic is having a hard time, even though he's seen this movie twice, because, as I said earlier, the synopsis is accurate, but this movie is going every direction but straight towards where the plot should be, right? And literally, the movie ends with her touching a bear's nose or snout, and problem solved. Okay. Now, just a couple of rants to get out of my system other than the beginning. All of these people are insanely powerful. You have Sunspot, who Vic is talking about, the virgin character who was on the lie detector test. We saw him, and we saw what he could do in Days of Future Past. That's the same. It's supposed to be the same character. Don't ask me if it's the same actor. I didn't look that up, but it's supposed to be the same character. That character has literally the power of the sun. He was taking out sentinels, highly advanced sentinels, not 1970 sentinels, highly advanced sentinels, right? They all know that this doctor is keeping them against their will, and she is controlling the force fields. We also see Magic. What's up, Sherman? We also see Magic. Magic is one of the characters' names. That's the one with the sword that Vic mentioned. Regularly spikes the doctor's drink so she falls asleep so they can go to the pool after hours, right? In this hospital. Nobody says, hey, I'm gonna slit this bee's throat so I can leave because I'm tired of being a prisoner. None of them say that. Instead, Magic, she does the same trope that we see in every movie with more than one female. I'm gonna be mean to the other girl in the movie because script reasons. The whole movie, Slender Man literally is chasing Magic, again, the girl with the sword. Even though we find out later that she can go into pocket dimensions that she calls limbo, and that's where she's safe, yet she's running from them the whole time. She literally abandons Cannonball. I think he's a member of X Factor, or X Force, rather, if I remember that right. She abandons him because she's petrified. And then 30 seconds later, because of course this is the age of women who can do Deus Ex Machina. More on that later when we get to episode 7, 8, and 9. Though she just comes out of nowhere and is suddenly a bad A and is decimating all these Slendermen, which literally 30 seconds before she was terrified of and she couldn't move. This entire movie, the fault of it is because this girl who wakes up in the hospital is conjuring up all these nightmares for these people. She's literally Freddy Krueger, right? Except she doesn't know it. And at the end, the culmination is it turns into a bear, right? Because her father told her a story once, and that's the only story, the only thing she ever remembered of her father. Why that? I don't know. Script reasons, right? She refuses to wake up. People have their lives at risk, and she refuses to wake up. And it's only after her father says to her, literally, I quote, "You're bigger than the bear," that she comes back like Popeye after the spinach. Yeah. And she doesn't beat the bear's A. She touches the bear's snout and says, "I'm a big girl now." Quote unquote. "I'm a big girl now. I got it from here." She literally rubs the Hulk's hand like Scarlett Johansson. Literally, I'm not kidding you. That's what happened. I didn't understand it in the Age of Ultron. I didn't understand it here. But anyway, let me get to these, and I want to call this segment "Worst Stuff" because there's nothing good about this movie except the script says when I got to leave because it was over. Number one, the school, them being held prisoner, reminds me of Indian schools, especially since it's such a big point that this girl is a Native American. Indian schools where they took Native children and they wanted to make them more European or Europeanized, right? 19th century, early 20th century, up until mid. I didn't like that. It bothered me, but it's history. So I'll give them credit for that, if anything. Magic, as I said, that girl is the mustache twirl. I've been talking about this. I don't like villains. And she is supposed to be a villain until suddenly the script says, no, we're best friends now because you brought me a sock puppet. Literally, she brings her, a lamb chop? She brings her a lamb chop in the form of a dragon. More on that later. And then she tells her the most intimate thing when she didn't tell these people that she's been in there seemingly with for months or years. But she tells this girl that she's hated the entire movie. Why? Script reasons. Okay. So she's a mustache twirler. It literally makes no sense for no reason. She says, I've killed 19 men. You can't kill this one doctor? You already spike her drink. I'm sorry. If I'm kidnapped, the main goal is to get away from the kidnapper. It's not like they're in shackles. They have free reign on this property. They're running around, they're sneaking up in the attic and everything like that. It says that she spikes this woman's drink regularly so that she'll fall asleep. Then slit her throat. End of the movie. Why do I have another hour and 40 minutes left? Slit her throat. No heroes. Anyway, Sunspot, using his powers on Slender Man. Why didn't he do that? Why did he wait so long? Why is Sunspot a coward? It's literally when somebody says to him, time for you to nut up. Oh, I forgot that I had testicles. Thank you for reminding me, Cannonball. Even though my life is in danger, the beginning of the movie, they say your mutant powers, they manifest when you're in heightened senses, when you're going through puberty. He knows how to use his powers. Thank you. That's exactly what he's a lapdog. Ridiculous. Completely nerfed. I call him the same thing that I called Fez from that 70s show, and also the character that I don't watch, the nerdy show, with all the nerds. Okay, that kept winning awards for a comedy that I never thought.
Big Bang Theory, which was a great comedy, by the way.
Yeah, I couldn't relate to it. Anyway, she took Arya Stark took this useless main character and hid her in a confessional. Now, I went to a private school, it's a Catholic school. Those are usually made out of wood, but this gigantic bear had trouble ripping through it. It must have been made out of steel. Wrong studio. Confessional of steel. And lastly, they were braver towards that gigantic. And when I say gigantic, I can't express this. It was the size of a freaking block. And it kept growing the more they were afraid, okay? Or the longer this girl was in this self-imposed sleep. They were more brave towards that gigantic bear that could not be hurt or damaged than they were against that one doctor who they could have, I mean, I can't even say decimated because that's not accurate to the definition, but they could have ended her months ago. Why are you scared of her when you spike her drink and could cut her head off, clean off? You could burn her alive, but you're willing to fight a gigantic anthropomorphic bear. It makes zero sense. Absolutely no sense. I want to meet the studio exec who said, you know what? I read this script. This is going to make zero money. Let's give you a couple $1 million to make it. What kind of white were they doing at that party that they greenlit this script? Because it had to be the purest of the pure. I kid you not. That's why Chris is taking a drink, because you had to not be sober to watch this movie. It made absolutely no sense. And lastly, Vic brought this point up for my, as I call this, the worst of. They referenced this as a tie-in to Logan. Now, the scene in Logan that I'm talking about is not when they were all X-Men and they were fighting and going on adventures and they were made into comics of pseudo adventures that they had. No, this is at the end after the X-Men are already over or they're very, very old, because we see the kids at the facility that are being tested on. And we know at this point that there are hardly any mutants and that those kids were genetically engineered from the DNA samples of mutants that existed prior. So at the end of the movie, and even in the midway point, it's Disney now, so get ready for Mr. Stark. So at the midway point, when they say, why would the X-Men want a dog? The X-Men don't exist anymore. This is what I'm talking about simple things in a script that can be fixed. Now, I'm sure whoever greenlit this movie is making millions, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. Nobody caught this. This is what they put out, and people rush out to watch it. So again, it's not that I'm hard just on the I'll call them Marvel, talking about under Disney. No, I'm hard on all these movies. If it doesn't make any sense, it can't be explained. It's not in the script. It's shenanigans. That's what this movie could have been called, shenanigans. I call it Dream Warriors because that's what I thought I was watching, except it was a bad version of Dream Warriors. Anyway, sorry, that's the last of my rant. Chris, I took your time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the end of the best of, worst of. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll get into our quotables as well as our recasted. Small schedule change. This Thursday, we were originally going to do the movie Goodfellas. However, we're going to move that back 1 week till next Thursday. And this week, we're going to review another movie. What we're reviewing? Wait 20 seconds and see.
The last one standing. I keep reaching for greatness because I'm built from it.
Who bows to who?
Nobody gonna stop for me. Here we go.
Kong bows to no one.
Here we go.
All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. This Thursday at 9:30 p.m., we're going to be reviewing Godzilla and Kong. If you have not seen it yet, guess what? You're not alone. This movie doesn't come out till Wednesday on WB, whatever you call the thing. What do you call that? HBO Max. Thank you. HBO Max. We're going to watch that Wednesday night or Thursday morning, and we're going to bring it to you right here. If you have seen it, let us come in and join us. If you haven't, watch us at a later time. But if you have any guesses and picks, I've been talking about this all over social media. Who do you think is going to win? I picked Godzilla. Dream Warriors here picked Kong for some reason. I have no idea why. I picked Godzilla because he is an armored dinosaur that should easily beat up a monkey. So that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But ladies and gentlemen,
when you say it like that.
Yeah, I mean, I study wrestling promos. I am good at this. But anyway, so we're reviewing something that's horrific, and I want Kong in this movie. I saw King Kong's brother in it at the end. But anyway, we're reviewing the New Mutants here, and we're going to go into our next segment, which is none other than quotables, if you can find them. Or I like to call it hide and go seek, because that's where we're going to find this. So I'm going to go last. Dream Warriors, I want you to go first on this one. Go ahead with your quotables.
All right. Well, listen, Chris and I had an earlier joke today because I said, "Who has any quotes?" And we were struggling to find it. Alex, I agree with you because they can do more. The other one is just like an iguana, with spikes.
Warner Brothers. I see what you did here, Mr. Dockett.
True, Chris. Warner Brothers is winning. HBO Max is winning. But I found 3.
Oh wow, amazing!
Now I usually give conversation in my quotes, so I'm going to respond to the quotes because they're one-liners. But I'm going to respond to them.
I have a feeling he picked one of mine.
Okay, let's see. Here's one of the quotes. By the way, I'm going to try not to curse. I don't think this is a hospital. My response, no bleep. Here's another quote. Let's kill this bitch. My line, you think? And lastly, Birdo talking about Sunspot. Nut up. And I'm thinking, finally. And those are my quotes.
All right. That is Dream Warriors quotes. By the end of the episode, you got to let us know why you picked Dream Warriors. But actually, you know what? I get it. Never mind. Yeah. Scarecrow. Yeah. Go ahead. Salute. Go ahead and what's your quote if you have any?
They aren't prepping us to be X-Men. They're prepping us to be killers. By rain. Oh, clearly. Inside every person, there are 2 bears forever locked in combat for your soul. One bear is all things good, compassion, love, trust. The other is all things evil, fear, shame, and self-destruction. I couldn't fit it, but she also says,
"That's what she said."
We were all thinking it.
Listen. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, she also said, she asked, which one wins, and he said, the one you feed. That's the one thing I liked in this movie.
Agreed. That was a great line.
You know what? I have to give you credit. That was a good line. I wouldn't have picked it, but that was a good line. This, however, they are prepping us to be X-Men. They're prepping us to be killers. I mean, with James ended, you think that's how I feel with that. Like, how long did it take you to figure that out? Yeah. But as we're in this segment, ladies and gentlemen, it's called quotables, and I think normally it's not fairly difficult in some of these movies, but in this particular one, a little bit of a struggle. Definitely a little bit of a struggle. So I have to say, with all due respect to any other movie, this might have been the hardest one to find a quote. Why, ladies and gentlemen? Because have you seen the movie? If you were awake, you would know. So look at this. This is how This is how I felt during my time to try and find a quote. But I found one. There was one time I did a chuckle in this movie. It was from Magic. This is how bad this is. I don't remember at all what the conversation was. All I know is she said something. Moonstar said something back, and she looks up. I was not really asking you. And I was like, I completely understand that. When you ask a rhetorical question, you don't want to answer from idiots. You were just saying it, and that's how she looked at her at that particular time. And I appreciated that about it. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That was a very short, quotable segment. Thankfully, I don't put that normally on YouTube. But let's go ahead to our recasted segment. And Dream Warriors, I would like you to go first on this one, too, if you have any recasted, spoiler alert.
Listen, I have fun on this one. And because Chrissy is not here, let me say the King is here. The King has returned. I don't know where to start. There's so many. Chris already picked the script, so I won't recast that again. But Lord knows I wanted to.
So go ahead, Mufasa.
Lord knows I wanted to. Where to start? Well, we finished on Magic, so let's start on her again once more. Here's Magic, but I don't want to talk about Magic. I want to talk about her unnamed dragon. Now that's what it looks like in
spoiler alert.
Yeah, in the Magic realm or something like that. I don't know. As you can see, the visual effects team was still working on it when this movie came out, even though it was delayed for like 7 years. But anyway, that's her dragon, the sock puppet, as I call Lamb Chop. I don't know who it was supposed to be because they never gave a name, but this is what I kept thinking of when I saw it. I think that's Orf from Dragon Tales. That's what I kept thinking of. But also I had a little bit of this, a little bit of nostalgia, Fraggle Rock. Now you have to see it as a puppet because that's what I thought of when it was a puppet. But when it became animated, I thought of Dragon Tales, and that will be my recasting for that one. Now, I'd like to go to Maisie Williams, Arya Stark, as Vic likes to call her. Did you need the money? You didn't. But you were trying to break into Hollywood. I know your sister Stark. She was in X-Men. She did Dark Phoenix. They delayed that movie too. It must be a British thing. I don't know. But this is Maisie Williams, and this one, her name is Rain. Don't ask me how to spell it. It's not spelled the same way. It's always fancy. Right. And that's how she looks throughout the entire movie, except when she's holding Moonstar's hand. I don't know why my co-hosts are laughing. Let me see. Guys, you all right? All right. What is going on? This is Rain, aka Maisie Williams' character. And her mutant ability is to turn into a werewolf. Now, no, she's not in New Moon, Chrissy. She's actually in New Mutants. I hope that you got to watch this masterpiece somehow. But every time she turned or even looked like this, I kept thinking of this one movie. But I like this movie better, so I recasted it. And here we go. This is Michael J. Fox and Teen Wolf.
That's a good one.
And I wish that I was watching this one because I enjoyed it better. And actually, I like the makeup better because it looked better to me. And in this movie, he wasn't scratching people in the face and calling it help. So anyway, that's what I would recast. But last but not least, I would like to actually recast something else. And usually I don't do this, but actually, I don't know if you knew this, but I took a picture of myself while watching this movie, and here it is.
Yeah.
And if you look closely into my eyes, you can see the terror,
the horror,
the fear. Yeah. And then as I was watching this movie, I got a text saying that I have to watch episode 7, 8, and 9 of Star Wars, and I held that same reaction. So that's going to be coming up soon. So there you go. That's me watching New Mutants. Just a little behind the scenes. That's my recasted.
All right, Vic, we're on you.
Okay.
You listen. The minute she was watching her running with her as a wolf, then she's watching her like lying in the bed.
They were in the shower together.
Lesbianism and homosexuality with the cannonball and the sunspot. I said everybody's getting it on except the doctor, but the doctor's the biggest freak because they're masochists. You know what I mean? They're just cutting people and doing all that freaky stuff. But everybody was getting theirs in. You know, that's what it should have been called. New Mutants getting in. That's it. Now, Chrissy said she had the same recast that I'm curious to see.
She did. She actually posted it in our chat right before you did it. Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Look, she posted it in our chat right before you did it. It's amazing.
Chrissy, we're finally meeting together in the middle in 1980s movies.
Oh my gosh. Go ahead, Scarecrow. What the hell? You changed your name? All right, go ahead. Say your recast.
That's been my name from the beginning. But
Didn't see it because my mind is still hooked on drugs.
In case you don't see this video up later, it's because we got flagged.
Hey, you know what? It's like deja vu from last week, right? Did he see it?
But what's my point in doing that? I will recast this whole story, connect to these people, and just do it over.
Exactly.
That's the only way. That's the only thing I can say. Like I am not going to get into nitty gritty here. I am very disappointed what they did with Arya Stark. I would just take her out of this damn movie.
Are you more mad that a Stark is in this bad movie than you are that the movie is bad itself?
Here's the thing. This is what upsets me, right? Because this little girl grew up in that role, so she's kind of typecasted in a certain way. And she tried to deviate from that. Clearly, you can see that. She's growing up. She's trying to try something new. This is a big thing, apparently, and it turned out to be a flop. So I went into this with a ton of optimism. And mind you, the reason I am behaving the exact same way that I am behaving when we reviewed The Dark Phoenix is because I feel the exact same way. Like, these women were young, really good actresses coming off of really powerful roles, and then this is what happens. That's all I can say. You know what I mean?
To be fair, Emilia Clarke was in Terminator Genesis, and the only part about that movie that I liked was when they recreated the scenes from Terminator 1 and 2. I'm dead sure. I thought it was a great job reenacting how they reinterpreted it, but that was the end that I liked about it.
I'm saying, like, I mean, damn. Yeah, I just recast the whole story, recast the whole thing. Like, I don't know if this is how it is in the comics. I really feel like reading some comics right now because I feel like that's going to be way more entertaining than this movie.
Would you rather watch New Mutants again, or would you rather watch Episode 9 of Star Wars? Which one?
No, that's the thing. Like, I'm going into Star Wars fresh.
You've never seen any Star Wars?
Oh, nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. Because I always avoided it because it was always like, all right, it's too much stuff to catch up. But now I'm a little excited because now I'm going to know what the hell people are talking about.
Alex Con 123. I would say this. I did like her, and I watched Doctor Who, and she plays a character named Ashilda in that. Excuse me.
Thank you.
She was a character in the 12th Doctor's iteration of that, and I liked her in that role. She was good in that one. Chrissy, I look forward to seeing you in our Star Wars. I hope you can make it. Yes, we will be watching all those movies, and I hope you join us, not just for Solo.
Mind you, she was the one that told us that we're doing Star Wars next. That wasn't even in my schedule, but she said, "Hey, we're doing Star Wars next." And she's not even here. But all right, so let's go ahead with my. I'm sorry, Scarecrow. Were you done?
Yeah.
All right. So mine's actually going to be actually a little lengthy, which is why I wanted to go last. Which I normally do to clean up tomfoolery, but this whole movie was tomfoolery. So I'll start off with the basics, right? Let's start with this young lady.
Pause.
Let's start with this young lady. This young lady is called Dr. Reyes, right? And you're probably like, wow, why are you recasting Dr. Reyes? She was the most entertaining person. I'll say, hey, you know what? Could you sell me some of that stuff that you're using? Because I could probably sell it at a bigger profit. Because she wasn't. She was so boring. She didn't get a personality to the very end when she was getting cut up by Teen Wolf, right? So who can I recast her of? I decided to bring back an old favorite. Who's that old favorite? You guessed it, generic. Karen Symbol is an old favorite because anybody could have played Dr. Reyes. They could have got that woman from Logan who was the fake mom to come and play that character. Just as good. She wasn't good at all. Boring, annoying to me. Right? Here we go. How about we recast the whole movie? right? You're like, oh, Chris, you can't recast the whole movie. What would you recast the whole movie as? Why are you being so mean? I'm being mean because the movie is garbage, right? The movie is garbage. So what would I recast the movie as, you asked? Garbage, probably. Yeah, I should recast it as garbage. I'm not going to recast the movie as garbage. I'm not that mean. All right, but I will recast it what it needs to be recasted as. And ladies and gentlemen, that is this. This movie felt like the New Mutants of Oz. And I'm not talking about the Wizard of Oz, because that's probably what you're thinking when I say the New Mutants of Oz. Chris, I didn't see a wizard in this movie. No, I'm talking about this show, this Oz. That's what I'm talking about, because
that HBO series was good.
This is when I started realizing I'm watching Oz. I saw two women in a shower look at each other, but trying not to look at each other ever so lovingly.
I get you.
Ever so lovingly. And I was like, hold up, am I watching the correct movie here? I don't know if I'm watching the right movie, because I had no idea this was going to happen. It's not a problem, but I had no idea. All right, I got another recaster for you. This is what James was talking about earlier. This guy is called Sunspot. Hey, who could I recast it? Who does he look like? Got him. This is him right here. This is Sunspot in this movie, ladies and gentlemen. Bet you ain't know. If you didn't know, you know now. This guy could easily replace the guy that played Sunspot in this movie. It doesn't end there, ladies and gentlemen.
You know
what?
Go
ahead. I'm listening.
You took the time to take a picture of a dumpster fire and write Sunspot.
You damn right. You damn right.
And go through all. You really took the time.
I took the time because it took 2 hours out of my life. Speaking of taking 2 hours out of my life, look at this guy. If you said, hey, who's the worst character? I'd say all of them. But you know what? Then I thought about it. This guy was god awful. Who does he remind me of? He reminds me of two people. The left and the right. This guy right here, Sam Guthrie, same character, I swear, as the previous gentleman I just put on the screen. If you don't believe me, fight me. Same character, I swear to goodness. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it goes on. I'm recasting everybody. Hey, nobody's exempt. Nobody's exempt. That's your girl, right? That's your girl. Who does she remind me of? It's the same color. Let's just go ahead and put it out there. Same character. Same character, because, ladies and gentlemen, she was garbage. Garbage. She was trash. This whole movie had trash characters in it. But, ladies and gentlemen, you thought I was done. It does not end there. Hey, I got another one for you. Look, it's Danny Moonstar, right? Everybody was so excited to see Danny Moonstar. Hey, I saw Danny Moonstar earlier. You know why? Because today is Tuesday. What is Tuesday in Orlando? It's trash day. Danny Moonstar, there you go. There you go. There you go, Danny Moonstar.
Brought to you Department of Sanitation of Unpopular Reviews.
Here's some more sanitation for you. No one's exempt. No one is safe today because they had me watch this movie. But you know what? I'll say this one. I liked her. I thought she was attractive at times. It's like, okay, all right, get it, girl. You know, you're looking kind of cute at times. You know, I understood why he wanted to bang you in the pool. I got it. So I'm going to treat you a little better. I'll treat you a little better. You are hot garbage. That's what you are.
I'll give you that one.
That is what you are.
I'll give you that one.
You're hot garbage.
She is hot.
By the way, Chris and Alex, they agree with you. They thought that her character was the most interesting out of all of them. The problem is they never went anywhere with explaining the backstories of any of these characters, so you only got a glimpse. You never knew anything about them.
She was hot, and she had a few good lines, but she was garbage too. That's why she's hot garbage. No, it was not. Obviously, I've been watching this show that long. So,
and Chrissy is saying Daryl Dixon. Who is Daryl Dixon? What does that mean?
He was a random person in the back that no one knew. I'm not done yet. This is my last one. Yeah, I am going to recast the script. I said I recasted all these people. What do all these people have in common? I said they were trash. Where would I put this script? In the trash. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my recasting. We're going to take a quick commercial break, find out what we're going to review next Tuesday. We're done with this franchise. We'll find out what we're going to review next Tuesday. Might be some more garbage pails. But anyway, find out when we go to review next Tuesday. We'll be right back after about 25 seconds. Stay with us. You're watching Unpopular Review.
The boy is dangerous. They all sense it. Why can't you?
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Next Tuesday, we begin the first of 11 Star Wars movie as we go into franchise. And we're going to start with 1999's Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Looking forward to that one because I love Jar Jar Binks, so. But we're going to go ahead to our next section.
It's a stereotype.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
These movies stay in this order instead of like the order of release.
It should have been the order of release. I'm telling you, it should have been the order of release.
We're just going to do that.
Vic has never even seen it before.
I didn't know that, but we're still going to do that. We're just going to do straight.
Alex, I appreciate you. We're trying to get better and better and better.
Thank you, Alex. We appreciate that, man. We really do appreciate that. But we're going to go a whole complete order, and we're going to take care of business. And Vic, I'm so glad we get to watch this with you at the same time. It's been 11 movies, and I've only enjoyed about 3 of them. So I'm also a little scared. And I'm not saying they were the rest of them were completely awful, but it was. Let me put it this way. You had the original trilogy. They were pretty well done. And then they just went off course. And I'm like, y'all doing too much now. And then it just like, you go from an A trilogy, arguably, an A trilogy, and you just decline from the franchise more and more because you keep coming out with these movies. And that was the problem I had with it. So that's what it is. It don't feel special anymore. But let's go ahead to our final thoughts as we are doing pretty well with time. Final thoughts, Scarecrow, you can go first. Take it away.
All right. Well, clearly, like I've been saying all night, I went into this with a ton of optimism, hoping to see what the future was going to look like. And I was unfortunately disappointed. I mean, like, look, with all this CGI, all of this stuff, all like, the end games, the Snyder cuts and whatever, and all this cool stuff that we have now. I'm looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to New Mutants. I'm looking forward to, like, look, even when WandaVision came out and when her kids showed up and, like, that whole situation, we're trying to see what's coming with the future, what's next. Because, like, truth be told, that 2019 was pretty much the death of the 90s, the death of the last century. So we're coming in, as far as being part of our culture. So I'm trying to see, like, what's coming next. What's next, to quote CM Punk. But and I was just disappointed with the way that they pulled the trigger on this. It was just it was incredibly disappointing. I really wish that they would just redo this whole movie, redo this whole story. If anything needs a Snyder cut right now, because I feel like that's the term at the moment, it's this movie or this story or something. Like, I literally feel bad for Hugh Jackman for even being connected to this. So this movie gets a thumbs up. Clearly, no, sorry. No, Clyde, no. I don't do that too often. You know me. I'm a sunflower. But no.
I'd rather be a sunflower than a sunspot from this film because it was garbage. All right, Dream Warriors, on you.
All right, as I said in the beginning, let me finish it this way. I have to give some apologies. I'm a man of my word. First up, I'd like to apologize to Casper. I'd like to apologize to The Notebook. A special mention to Tactical Force. Christie's movies. Also, a future movie called A Goofy Movie. No, I'm joking, Chrissy. I like that movie. I like that movie, Chrissy. I hope you're laughing. No, but this movie was terrible. Why? Because it's a movie about a bunch of half ideas that was greenlit to make into one movie, just conjumbled together. I forget what. Oh, in our review for Coming to America, the sequel, it was a movie with a bunch of different ideas conjumbled, and so you had a meandering plot that left threads that were unfinished, and so it seemed like an unfinished work. There were 3 different movies in this one movie, and nothing was satisfying. You had all these different characters that arguably how many people had heard of if we never read exactly if we never read the comic that they're based off of, but you can't make a movie like that. You can't assume that people, even if you come out with the new Star Wars, as Vic just said, he had never seen any of the Star Wars. You have to assume nobody has seen it. So the script has to be coherent. The way it's directed has to be coherent, right? Otherwise, you lose people along the way. Nobody's going to see it, and you lose a viable base, right? And that's what it did for me. I'm done with them. I consider that scene between Charles and Eric when they're playing chess in Paris good enough for me. I have no idea what year this movie is supposed to take place. I have no idea what the hell's going on. I have no idea if the town is really 20 miles away, nor do I care. Okay. They should have killed her 20 minutes into the movie. I could have left and done something else, but I had to waste 2 hours. What else? I want to tell a story. Long time ago, many years ago, I was a younger man. I'm still young, but I was a younger man. Then me and my friend, I'll call him Chris, we went to a movie. We got him for free, so I'm not too upset. Our friend was working there. I'm not going to mention the chain, but we used to get in the movies for free, and so I enjoyed going. And we decided to see a movie called Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. Now, it was starring a Caucasian woman, but played a child Asian actress. I was confused. You should be too. Anyway, I watched the movie. It made no sense. And literally, I remember looking over at my friend, who I love. I have love for him. He's been a great friend. And I wanted to choke him because I think it was his idea to watch this movie. And I remember I was so pissed. And I said, I'm leaving. I've had enough. And I literally got up and I walked out. I've never walked out of a movie. I didn't even pay for it. But I was so pissed at how bad that movie was. I walked up. I don't even know if it's midway because I've never watched the entire movie. I refused to. It was trash. If I could have left my home and never come back, that's what I would have done when I watched New Mutants. It was absolute. It was the entirety of a stinky rectum. That's what it was. There's so many things. Nobody has defined powers. It comes and goes. It's a setup, but no payoff. The main character is supposed to be, I forget what this Mary Sue, much as they talk about somebody else that we'll mention later on in 7, 8, 9. I keep mentioning 7, 8, 9 for a reason. Chris alluded to it a little bit before I did. I don't like that. It doesn't make women look good. You don't make women look good by giving them all kind of magic powers. It has to be defined. We care about Ripley because she was an ordinary woman who used her brain, her smarts, her intelligence, her skills to get out of the situation. And she deserved to be the last one standing. Had nothing to do with her gender. Not, oh, I'm a woman, hear me roar, I can do all of this. Oh, that's nonsense. This movie was nonsense. I felt like I was stuck in limbo and I couldn't get out. Where was Freddy? Who's the dream warrior? Who is the dream master? Get me out of here. I'm ready to wake up now, okay? Lastly, I'd just like to say this. Chris put up a picture on one of his recasted, as they call it, the hot blonde in this movie, the Russian chick. I don't know where she's from. I think she's from actually Western Europe, Scandinavian country, or something like that. And it's ironic because somebody else who had challenged me to a duel and backed out of it. Anyway, they star in a movie that I plan to bring up during my birthday month, which is June. And I know that Chris is going to look the same way then as he is now, because when they realize what that movie is, and that they will literally have to put on the subtitles to watch it, I'm going to be crying tears of joy because it will be so funny to me. And Chrissy, you better be on that episode because it's coming. June, it's here, baby. And I actually enjoy that movie. But this movie, this rectum, this dumpster fire, oh, it's getting a thumbs down.
All right. Let me do a few things, and I'll go with my final thoughts. First thing I want to do, of course, is say it's got a 5.3 out of 10 on IMDb.com. Makes no sense. Way too high. This movie cost $63 million to make. It made $43 million worldwide, 23 in the United States. Now, granted, that was in August of 2020, so you have to think about the situation. However, made too much money. Now, I have a few apologies of my own. I don't remember who picked Casper, Chrissy. I apologize because this is my new worst movie. I don't remember who picked Tactical Force. Vic, this made Tactical Force look like Justice League Snyder Cut. All right? And I'm only saying that because that was the last one. All right? I don't remember who put Bamboozled, James, but
To be fair, you hated the depictions, but not the movie.
Okay, well, I don't remember who picked Bamboozled, James, but if anybody felt bamboozled, it was me after watching this movie. All right,
Fair enough.
That's some apologies. I had some other apologies to my co-hosts Vic and James and even Chrissy, who's not on with us tonight. I remember when we was like, "What franchise we're going to do?" And I said, "We're doing X-Men." They were like, "Are we watching every X-Men?" I said, "Yes, we are." They're like, even New Mutants, it's not really a part of it. I said, it's part of the franchise, we're watching it. And I was emphatic about that. And y'all all saying, no. And I said, yes, we're watching it. I humbly apologize to all three of you. And James has known me for 24 years now. All right. And Vic's known you 2 years, and he knows me. And see, you know me for 10 years. I don't do that too often, but I humbly apologize to you all. From Christopher Joseph Harris, the Executive Consulting, the Absolute One of Excellence, whoever you want to call me this week, to you, for having you watch this movie. I watched this movie for free. I apologize to my TV for having it on. I apologize to the internet streaming service for the fact they only probably made 10 cents from that. I feel like we need to pay more money to our internet service because this movie was hot garbage. So I apologize to you, the viewers, for having to tune into this episode, for us watching the New Mutants. It was that bad. Now let's go ahead into my final thoughts. This movie sucked. It was bad. It was awful. I cannot stand it. I don't understand why they made this. Last week, and I'll apologize to viewers again. Last week, we were watching X-Men Dark Phoenix, a movie that got a lot of heat, a lot of flack. And I said, you know what? Y'all need to give this franchise a little bit of credit because of all the movies and the bangers they did, and they did not need to end on that bad note where y'all acting like, give it to Marvel, give it to Marvel, give it to Disney. After watching the New Mutants, I now say, give it to Disney. And y'all know how much I can't stand these movies from Marvel and Disney. But they even Thor, Dark World, it could not be as bad as this. Not even Doctor Strange could not be as bad as this movie. This was bad, and it killed so many movies before it. I hate this movie. It gets a thumbs down for me. And that's the end of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. The Scarecrow, take us home. Whenever you unmute yourself.
I am muted. Okay. I was laughing too much at you guys' jokes. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us again at another edition of Unpopular Reviews. Join us this Thursday when we actually review a much, much, much better anticipated movie, Godzilla vs. Kong. Thank y'all for coming out. Yeah, we hope. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless and great night.
Good night.